G'day everybody, my name is Elliot Waters and you're watching Dysregulated Daily. Alright, so how have things been? Things have been pretty good, but there's a couple of buts. So the first but is half an hour ago, my evening slump kicked in, and I'll tell you right now, I'm blowing up, alright? I'm agitated, I'm irritable, because my energy levels are dropping as we speak. And as my energy levels drop and I'm forcing myself to still do things and be like mentally active and physically, I'm getting the shits. I'm allowed to swear? I don't know, but I'm getting the shits. This happens when I forget to eat, which has happened again today. Happens all the time, especially in the afternoon. I just get really engrossed in whatever I'm doing. And then I forget about eating until I'm starving, and usually until my medications that I've had throughout the day, the stimulants in particular for my ADHD, when they start to wear off, that's when the hunger comes back, and then I get annoyed because I haven't eaten, and then I'm hungry and I'm losing energy, so I'm getting annoyed about that too, and I get very agitated. So this happens quite a bit, especially around this time. It's 7:30, so it's dinner time, and I'm not at home. I'm at the uni actually. So, I'm getting annoyed, but I've got to do the video, and here it is. And I don't want that to be the flavour, if we're talking about food, the flavour of the video necessarily, although that is an important component because I am blowing up. But the last 2 days have been really good, actually. Yesterday was good, so this week, very quickly, I've been at work on the 5 a.m.s. That's why I'm in all the forklift gear, I don't wear this at work, but, I'm a forklift hero. What can I say, Elliot Forking Waters. Anyway, what was I saying? See, I always, ADHD, I forget, especially when I'm hungry. My brain's lacking, glucose and stuff. What was I saying? Oh, yeah, last 2 days, because I didn't do a video yesterday because I have been working at 5 a.m, so I've been up at 10 to 4. Then yesterday I went straight from work to the university, and I interviewed a friend for the potty, which is amazing, and, it went really well. It's always an honour and a privilege whenever I hear anybody's story, but to have the opportunity to be able to showcase it on the Dysregulated podcast, that's something I take very, very seriously. We had a great chat, a real in-depth talk, and hopefully sooner rather than later I'll get that uploaded because it is a beauty, and I really want you to hear it. Trust me, it is top notch, and it's an honour and a privilege to be able to put it on the show. It really is. But I've got to do a bit of editing first because, my own story, whatever, I'll throw that against the wall, but someone else's, take that very seriously. Anyway, I'm rambling, and what I'm trying to say is that when I finished the interview, I had nothing left, all right? I was cooked, I was fried, I had nothing left, couldn't do anything. But yesterday, my mood was a 7, my capacity was a 7. Capacity was great. It would have been even better if I was able to get the Dysregulated daily video out yesterday, but I wasn't able to. But a 7 and a 7 is pretty good. Now, today, if anything, has been an improvement on that again. So my mood, I would say, is an 8, and capacity has been an 8 as well. Now, I'm not going to go into too much detail about this. This is something that I want to talk about on the podcast in full. But I don't usually go above 8 anymore. It's very rare, very seldom that I get into the 9s and 10s for mood or capacity. And there's a few reasons for that. One of them is I'm not as dysregulated as I used to be. So the peaks aren't quite as high, but the dips aren't quite as low, which is great. But I do sort of cap off at about 8. And my anxiety definitely pulls the handbrake on as far as that's concerned as well. And like I said, I'm going to explain this more on the podcast, but I just want to say 8 is about as good as it gets for me nowadays. Because I am more regulated, and the 9s and 10s, especially if it's sustained, can be very dangerous, very dangerous. So 8 and 8's pretty good, that's just about as good as it gets. So that's great. The only thing that's concerning me is that, I don't know, you've been watching, I hope, the Dysregulated daily videos, and there's been a few of them now, and all of them I'm pretty chipper in, I'm pretty happy. Things are going all right. My mood's, I don't think have I done any 6s? There might be a 6 day there for the mood, but I think capacity's all been 7s and 8s. And that's really good. But it's a little bit unusual because before the first video as well. The last probably 2-3 weeks have been about the same, which is great, but I would have thought by now there would have been a pullback. And that was a big part of why I wanted to start these videos, is because I don't want to just showcase the good days, but I want to showcase the bad ones as well, because that's the reality of my life, and that's the reality of living with mental illness, and that's the reality of a lot of people's lives as well. You know, there's a lot of us, even if it feels very isolating. But, you know, so far the videos have been mostly, I think, positive, because I've been feeling pretty positive. And that's good, because obviously that's the aim. You want to feel good. You want to be engaged with the world and have that capacity to be able to do the things you want to be doing, like, you know, doing 5 a.m. shifts and then going to the university and interviewing people, or like today I was at the university doing some other research work. But, you know, like, that's pretty good. But I don't know, I'm getting a fair bit done. It's been sustained. That worries me a little bit. Now, I don't know if it worries me for a good reason, or if it's just because I'm anxious about everything that I'm getting concerned. But I am a little bit worried there's going to be a pullback, and it's going to be quite severe, that there could be a bit of whiplash. Because I have found, not all the time, but I have found in the past that when I get sustained multi-week blocks, this is why bipolar type 2 is a definite possibility in my mental health makeup. But when I do get those sustained blocks, that there has been in the past a real severe whiplash, you know, elastic sort of releasing bang, you know, into the depths, into those dark periods. Not necessarily for as long, but there's definitely some severe days there. And it's been a while since I've had a bit of a pullback, a bit of a regression. So overall, I'm pretty happy about that. But, you know, me, I am anxious all the time. Even when I say 8s and 8s, you know, my anxiety is still way up there. That's just the way it is. So, you know, I am getting a little bit concerned that there's been too many days, you know, in the black. It's about time there's a couple of days in the red. But anyway, we'll see. Who knows? Maybe the secret to me and having positive mental health is dysregulated daily. You know, talking to you guys. You guys, perhaps, are my greatest antidepressant. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe. But anyway, that'll do for now. So things are going pretty good, which is great. There is, you know, the potential here for things to go southwards, but at the same time, Dysregulated Daily, this is all about showcasing the good times and the bad. And although I'm not wanting or wishing the bad times to come, let's be honest, we all have some rough days, and I'm going to have some, because that's just part of being human. That's the human experience, you know, you can't get away from that. So those days are coming. I just hope, you know, I just dip down a little bit and then power out again. But we'll see, you know, I'll let you know all about it here on Dysregulated Daily. All right, I've got to get home. I've been at uni, been working, which is great, but I'm crashing big time, and I'm starving, and I'm getting real angry. And if anyone cuts me off or drives slow in front of me on the way home, I'll tell you, I'm going to be absolutely blowing up. All right, thanks, guys. See ya.